You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Brandon, the fish are back. Welcome everybody to episode number 50. It's Big 5-0 of the Battered Marlins Fans podcast. I am your host, Daniel God, and alongside me, as always, Mr. Brandon Griffin. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. We took four out of the 6 games. We both went conservative, thought 3 out of 3. So how can you complain?
Yeah, and, for sure. And, you know, when we get into the talk about the series, the one thing I wish would have been just slightly different, that very first win against the Royals, where Stowers walks it off. I really wish
Hmm.
it would have been on Saturday, so you could have been wearing these jerseys. We didn't talk about these
Oh
jerseys last
yeah,
week,
we did.
but man, I really love these jerseys. I really thought that
I
going
do
back to
too.
the teal would be the only way to go, but I mean, these are pretty sweet. So I enjoy
Yeah,
watching like, with these on Saturdays.
I agree. I think you're absolutely right. That didn't even occur to me. It would have been nice to get that moment in that new City Connect jersey because we don't in those jerseys. I don't think we have a moment yet.
No, and
We had some good moments in the Sugar Kings, but nothing in the new 305 jersey, which
well,
yeah is fire.
outside of for me, the teal with the pinstripes is my favorite. What's
Yeah.
your favorite Marlins jersey? Because is it the orange? You love the orange, don't you?
No, no, definitely not. I probably um probably the vests like we had talked about the
Yes,
teal
the vest.
pinstripe
Yeah,
vests with the teal undershirt.
yeah.
I think that was probably it, and it's iconic too. Followed closely by the black old school with the teal Marlins across the front.
Okay,
That one was
you
good.
thought you were gonna say the 2003 black.
Yeah, yeah. The '03
Yeah.
black or the we used that for a couple seasons after too, so that was a good one. A lot of good memories in that jersey.
So getting into the series, Royals. We took 2 out of 3. The first one,
Yeah,
Stour Power. The way that
yeah,
he ended the first half of the season with a 3 home run game, starts the second half of the season with a 2 home run game and a walk off.
yeah.
I mean, I felt like that was the biggest moment I would say of the series. What were your thoughts on the series against the Royals?
I think we looked really good during the Royals series. We had great pitching for the most part, except for that last game. That last game was rough, but I thought it was great. Like, you're absolutely right. Like Stowers' moment there, that was something. I mean, the dude just keeps producing, and we all kind of keep expecting he's gonna fall back to earth at some point, but he just keeps producing, and at this point, like, I'm all for it, man. I don't doubt this guy at all. This guy's legit. Because coming into the season, I wasn't very high on him, and now he's making me eat my words, and I can't say that I love it anymore.
No, and
It's great.
but Sandy just he started well, but once you get runners on base against Sandy, it's like he completely changes. He gave up well, how many? He gave up 4 runs right in the fourth, 3 or 4 runs in the fourth inning. After he had a nice little cushion of a lead,
Yeah, he
Sandy,
almost blew it.
yeah, Sandy. Do you think he'll get back to being Sandy
He
as a
had a
Marlin?
nice he had a nice game last night.
The
He
early
brought
game,
his
yeah.
ERA back down to 7. So,
No.
I think he can. I think it's easy in this day and age to when we see these pitchers coming back from Tommy John to think it should be instantaneous. And I think Sandy's just taking more time to adjust himself to figure out how he's pitching. And then Sandy also, because I listened to his post game conference last night, he mentioned he mentioned he's changing his throwing mechanics a little bit. So he's going more side armed. He threw a couple sliders side armed instead of
Okay.
straight
Yeah, I
up.
didn't watch that. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that probably contributes to his success in that game. And when you can change every now and then, like you don't have to throw sidearm all the time, but if you throw something sidearm and you're known for just throwing overhand, like yeah, that's gonna throw batters off and that's gonna give you an edge. So I think doing things like that and messing around with his timing a little bit, like maybe slowing down his delivery for a couple of pitches, just to throw batters off. Maybe gives him a little bit of an edge to try and recover. I do think he gets back to Sandy form. And I do realize I'm saying, oh yeah, you got to take your time with Tommy John and be patient. And Yuri's come back and is like better than ever. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
just handles it differently.
Yeah, Yuri's having a great year so far. But that first game, giving up the lead, we blown save, end up
Yeah,
falling behind in the 10th inning. Stowers ends up coming back with the 3-run homer to walk it off. Like it was a fun first game
it
back
was.
to the second half of the season. Then on Saturday, I should have gone. It was Colombian Heritage Night. I didn't get to go out there, but again, we blow a lead. Ronnie Enriquez, which has been great,
Yeah,
blows the lead. End up was it to a homer? Yeah, it was a home run that he gave
yeah.
up in the eighth, and then we end up winning it. Your thoughts on game two and three?
Um, game two and three kind of. I mean, game two was good. It was nice to see us have back to back games with some resilience and kind of coming back late and finishing
Absolutely.
games off, which is good, especially for a young team. You don't think of that as a positive characteristic for a young team normally. So I enjoyed seeing that.
But
Sunday
they're
was a bit.
earning that nickname, right? The Fighting Fish.
Yeah, they really are. They really are, and it's I think it's showing too. Like we haven't talked about it, but the attendance for the weekend's games, and even the Padres games was pretty well attended for a Marlins game. I think they had 18,000 out either last night or maybe it was
But that's
Monday.
how it is down in South Florida. Well, on top of it being the summer, so there's nothing else really going
Yeah,
on. But you
yeah,
start winning, people start showing up just a little bit more. And maybe not a
exactly.
packed house, but they'll start showing up.
Yeah, yeah, the attendance was good. And, Sunday's game, I think you and I were both kind of texting and it was disappointing. We both were hoping to go for the sweep and be able to be like, going crazy because we didn't think we were going to take 2 out of 3 from the Padres. But, it was disappointing Sunday, but something
But that
I
was a
figured we
weird
would lose a
game.
game.
You had that ball that got wedged out in the outfield by the screen. You
Yeah.
had you had errors of Otto Lopez. It was just a weird game.
Yeah, and it was, I think each team had defensive issues because each team had 2 errors in that game. Um, the Royals didn't really hit a whole lot better than us. They just were a little more timely with their hitting because they had 9 hits, we had 7. They plated 9 of those hits. We only plated 4. So, um, yeah, I mean, like I said, I figured we would probably drop one of them. Disappointing not to get the sweep, but ultimately, I'll take a series win.
No, absolutely. But when you feel like the series win is out there, it gets exciting. It's very
Yeah.
disappointing. But when we didn't get the series win, I was just hoping let's get one against the Padres, and I'll be happy because we
Hmm.
said 3-3 and we're good. We want 500 ball for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And then we
Absolutely.
get the Yuri start game one, and he pitches great, but he just doesn't get the run
Yeah.
support.
Yeah, and he got the hits. I mean, we had 9 hits in that game too, but we only played it 1 run. So that was disappointing to see. It was cool to see guys like Arise and Hoeing back in the building. Guys that have been here for a little bit, and obviously Arise
Arise
got
got
some
a
history
decent
here.
ovation.
He did, and I wasn't sure what kind of reception he was going to get because it's not like it's his first time back in a Padres uniform. So at this point, some people are probably like, "All right, see you later, man." But it was good to see.
Yeah, it was good to see, but we got that loss, and then at that point, I started worried that things were gonna fall off. But then
Yeah,
Eddie Cabrera gets game two, and Eddie Cabrera has just been balling, and that's my special guest host right there.
yeah. Eddie Cabrera balled out again like normal. It's weird to say like normal with Eddie Cabrera, but yeah, he definitely. And we talked about it last week, right? We hoped he came back, got at least 1 or 2 starts in before the deadline, showed teams he was healthy. I think he did that. And I think it's a very real possibility that we definitely probably saw his last home start as a Marlin, and I think we probably saw his last. It could be his last start with us. altogether because I do think that probably put him back on the radar for some teams.
Well, and especially because I mean, there was a moment there where he didn't run to first, and I was like, "Come on, man, you got to show some effort." And then he saves himself because he almost gives up a run right after
Yeah.
that, but he kind of makes a great play off of a bunt. I think he just drove up his trade value, and I think you're right. I think that was the last home start, and it's almost well, I guess I'll bring that up in a second when we talk about
Yeah.
trade deadline, but your thoughts on the games 2 and 3 overall?
2 and 3 were both great. It was great to see, particularly the last night's game was great to see because we saw Sandy get back in the win column, right? That was key. He pitched really well. Padres only scored 2 runs off of us. They did give up 7 hits, so that part isn't great. But it was good to see Sandy back to normal, and like we already talked about, right? Good to see Eddie back on the mound. While I do think he's going to be a trade piece, if he's not, having him healthy just makes us better and gives us a better chance of just having a good finish to the season.
All right, so we go 4-6. I'm sorry, 4-2 in those 6 games. I mean, the trade deadline is looming,
It is.
and the trade deadline is what's today? What was it
Today's the
7 days,
24th,
6 days?
so I think we're
No, it's the 20.
7.
It's like 7. It's the 31st, right? So
Yeah,
7 days. So we got a week. Hypothetically, and I know this probably won't happen, right? But in a hypothetical world, just because we talk sports, we just throw random things out there talking.
yeah.
If we were to make it to a game under 500 right by the trade deadline, as a fan, I know what the front office is going to do, but as a
Yeah.
fan, would a little part of you just say, let's just see how this plays out? Or do you think, no, let's just go and do what we're supposed to do? This is a rebuilding year, and let's just be happy that
Um,
that we're that we're looking like we're going to be competing in the future soon.
I think at this point, I don't think being at 500 or near 500 is going to get us into the playoffs. So I don't think we're good enough to make the playoffs. Which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. We're 10.5 games back in the division and 7.5 back of the wild card. And while the having the Braves not at the top of the division has been great, you've got great teams like the Phillies and Mets who are going to be fighting for that wild card position. Whoever doesn't win the division will probably win the top wild card. And then you've got like Cubs, Milwaukee duking it out. Even the Dodgers. Dodgers are winning their division, but San Diego's right behind them. You could see San Diego
Yeah,
move up.
Miami.
Still,
At the moment is 6.5 back of a wild card spot.
yeah,
So like I said, I know it makes no sense to not do it. You have to keep adding pieces because you're not a World Series contender right now. But I
yeah,
just wonder if you go on a crazy run, which the Brewers are probably going to be very tough to even win the series. Then you got the Cardinals, which are an above 500 team.
yeah.
But if you go on a 6 game winning streak in the next 6 games, a
I think
little
it's
party is like
interesting, right?
it gets interesting, but that won't happen. But who do you expect to see go in the trade deadline?
So I don't. The one thing I will say is I think with the team's performance, like you can rule out a fire sale, right? Like
I agree.
clearly the plan is working. And so I do not think we see anybody that uh, you know, they've already come out and said Stower's not going anywhere.
You
Duke's
better not go
staying.
nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Mish reported it that organization already said he's off the table. The four names that I'm hearing obviously Eddie Cabrera. Sandy is always going to be in that conversation.
But you know what? With Sandy, I don't think you sell low anymore. Even though I don't think they ever had any plans of selling low. But
Yeah,
in like for example, yesterday's game, I think that gives you a little hope. You're like, you know what? Like you said, maybe he's just taking a little time adjusting. You can't
yeah.
sell low on Sandy.
No, I think with Sandy, I think what they do with Sandy is going to be telling on what our plan is for next year and the year after. Because I don't think, based off of the way the team is playing and playing without, huge pieces like Griffin Conine, basically your whole pitching staff,
Braxton
being
Garrett,
out.
yep.
Yeah, Braxton Garrett, Max Meyer, Ryan Weathers all out right now. Um, I think your timeline for winning or being successful is probably moved up a year or two, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
I
And
agree.
so, while I think trading a guy like Eddie Cabrera is a good idea because you have plenty of pitching, you're selling high, and we know what can happen with Eddie. Um, hopefully that doesn't happen. I want the dude to be successful, but let's be honest, it's gonna come back, and
I
so let's
agree.
get him out before that
You got to
happens.
sell high for sure.
Yeah, and I think keeping Sandy in a way, I view Sandy's future as being tied to Yuri's future because the two are very close. Yuri or Sandy has been a mentor to Yuri. I believe they have the same agent, or I know Yuri has maybe Sandy's old agent. Sandy may have switched, but there's a connection there. If you keep Sandy around, and I think that says that Bendix's intention is to lock Yuri down long term, and I would expect to see a contract extension to Yuri. If we move Sandy on, it's okay. We're gonna play the arbitration game with Yuri, and you know we'll see what happens. Because I think Sandy, Yuri, Weathers, Meyer, Braxton, and you can throw in a couple other minor league pitchers right now, names, and some of the guys that are in the rotation now. That rotation gives you a chance to win next year.
Well, you know what? And I agree with you. I do think that maybe I wouldn't say compete for a championship next year, but I think
No
next year we're talking, okay, let's get this wild card.
wild card.
Let's maybe get the division. I mean, who saw Atlanta falling off? The Mets could fall off. They're
I
not
hope they do.
consistent. The Phillies, even though they have Zach Wheeler balling out of his mind,
Yeah,
but I think next year you come into the season with a lot more hope. It's going to be a
yeah,
fun run. And I think it started so far with the core pieces that are showing right now. And I think
yeah,
this trade deadline is crucial because I think that this is going to be the next step in adding pieces that will contribute in 2026 and
yeah.
2027.
Agreed. And I think the other two guys, just real quick, that I think could be on the move is Nick Fortes for sure.
I agree
We
because we
I think
have
Fortes has to
players.
go and Mac has to come
Absolutely.
up.
You got
Yeah,
to give space for Mac to come up. You got Augustine, which isn't the best catcher in the world, but he needs more
yeah.
time. Did you know that we lead the league in stolen bases allowed, and not by a
Mm-hmm.
small margin,
No,
by
it's
like
bad.
almost 20? It's really, really bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. And I think it's just wild though. I think part of that too though is when you look at like our rotation, like these aren't like top end guys or really guys. Most of them probably aren't going to be in our rotation next year. And I think they probably struggle with keeping guys at first. But catcher is definitely a problem. Like, you know,
I agree.
Fortes can contribute. Like, don't get me wrong, the dude is a solid catcher. But I think with what the log jam we have right now at the catcher position in the minors, it makes sense. Trade Fortes, give him an opportunity to contribute to a contender because like I think it was Fish on First mentioned it when I was listening to them earlier, and they 100 it just clicked. The Padres need a
Hmm.
catcher bad, and Fortes
Yeah.
could slide right in there, and I think that would be a fantastic trade partner because the Padres will give up prospects and good ones, and then the other
Oh yeah,
guy,
they're not shy about that.
no, and the other guy that I'm hearing trade rumors on, and I don't not anything huge, but Dane Meyer. A lot of teams are
Okay.
looking at him because he's produced really well. He hits lefties really well. Could be a guy who can contribute to a contender. Um, but the asking price from the Marlins would likely be pretty high because there's a lot of control over Dane. We still have several years of control with him, and so I don't think it's as likely. But I do think if a team comes in and offers the moon, we could see Meyer on the move.
All right. So we're looking at the series coming up. We got the Brewers for three, and then we have the Cardinals. All both those series on the road.
Yeah,
What are your predictions for the Brewers and Cardinals series? The Brewers are the top team in the Central. Cardinals above 500.
I think for the Brewers, and it probably depends, right? Like, uh, no, I think we probably go take 1 out of 3 with the Brewers. I don't think we can take 2 out of 3. I don't think we win that series. The Brewers are just, a pretty solid team top to bottom, and not a lot of weaknesses, especially ones that I think we can get after.
It's the type of team that you hope to be, though, right? Not
It
spending a lot
is.
of money and consistently good.
I think that's the model, right? Like, I think we'll eventually see us do things like they did. Like, they've been able to keep Yelich and have him as
They
part of that
have.
lineup.
Yep.
I think if we can have 1 or 2, maybe 3 stars and fill out the rest of the team with like reasonable salaries, I could totally see us doing that. But I think right now everything's clicking for the Brewers. We're getting them on a hot streak. I think 1 out of the 3. Especially because I think we only really have. Trying to do the math. I think maybe Yuri might be the only one we have pitching in that series. Um,
Yuri might be the only one pitching.
like only solid starter. Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I kind of figure Yuri could lock down a game, if he gets the run support. Um, Eddie, I think, would be due up in that series, but may not be here by then. We'll
Yeah, he
see.
might be gone by then.
Yeah,
So
if
let
we
me
get
guess.
both of them, maybe
You're
two.
gonna get 2 out of 3 for against the Cardinals, and we're gonna go three and
Yeah,
three.
I think three
Yeah.
and three is realistic for the series. Um, Cardinals, I think, are playing kind of like us. They're probably punching above their weight right now, so it wouldn't surprise me to see us maybe sneak a sweep in there. I think it could happen, but yeah, most likely it'd probably be 2 out of the 3.
I'm excited to come back next week, and we went all six, and we are 54 and 53.
Oh God, man, can you imagine that going into that Yankees series and the Astros at home?
That would
Ooh,
be absolutely insane, but it'll be awesome. Fighting
it would
fish.
be. Yeah.
Final thoughts, Breton.
Final thoughts. I kind of do this every time the trade deadline comes up. Enjoy the players that we have on the team. If Sandy and Eddie are pitching and they're still here, watch the game. It might be the last time you see him in a Marlins uniform. Media's already asking like Sandy. They were like, "Hey, um, what do you want the fans to remember you by?" Like the dude's already been traded. He's like,
They asked that. I didn't
they
hear them
asked
ask
him
that.
last night, and he said, "I just want to be remembered as a player, and if they want to remember me as El Caballo, that's all I want." And
El
I thought that was an
Caballo. Shout out to
awesome,
Stash because
yeah,
Spaz used to love talking about El Caballo.
oh yeah, and like that's you know, it's tough because like we've been talking about Sandy on the move, but when it all boils down, like we're not going to get to see Sandy anymore if he gets traded, or if Eddie's on his way up, we're not going to see him reach his full potential, and that's tough. So just enjoy the guys that are here, have fun with it, and we'll come out the other side of the trade deadline either as a stronger organization or um, still a fun one on a run. So
I think we definitely don't come out of it as a better team this season because we will lose
no,
pieces.
so I said
Um,
organization.
yeah, I know. I know. Keyword. I heard. I got that. I saw. I noticed. But I do think Sandy's going to be at the end of the year. I think that they do not
Yeah,
sell low because that's what they would be doing right now. I think if they trade him off. But I am excited. So they're earning that nickname, the Fighting Fish, and
yeah,
it's just been fun. It's been a fun season, and hopefully they can keep it up, man. Because I would love for them to get approach that 500 mark at some point in the season.
yeah,
I don't think they will. I think that this is the high point. I think once the trade deadline comes, you start getting those Yankees, Astros, stuff like that. Things
yeah.
start getting a little more difficult. But
That's the other
enjoy this
thing
while you
this
can.
week. Save your money because we got to pack the house for those series. Those are going to be good.
Oh, you know that Yankee
I
series is going to sell out no matter
Oh
what.
man, I so all right. Little story. The company I work for has tickets right behind home plate, um in that VIP lounge thing, and
Nice.
every now and then they'll reach out and say, "Hey, like we have tickets. Like, does anybody want them?" And so I'm gonna be in Disney that weekend,
Oh, come
and
on.
that Sunday game they had a pair of tickets for the Yankees game, and I said I'll take them, and I was going to cancel my Disney trip, but
Nice.
somebody else beat me to it and got the tickets. But I was like, you know what? I made the attempt. I tried. I would have canceled a Disney trip for that, especially it's a
Yeah,
Jack McKeon bobblehead giveaway.
I know, and it's a good one too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
City Connect Saturday against the Pinstripes. Come on.
When we did our all-time Marlins team, I never asked you. We never
We
went
didn't
over
do
best
manager.
manager. What
Yeah,
would you go, Jim Leland or Jack McKeon?
McKeon. Yeah.
Were you gonna go Ozzie Guillen?
No, I thought. Man,
I don't know. I
I
think that was a
thought a
bit of a
little bit about
disaster.
what's his name, Freddie, but no. I think you're really just talking Leland or
McKeon.
McKeon.
I'd go
Maybe.
McKeon.
I mean, you might be able to throw in. God, it hurts so bad that he's gone. I already forgot his name. Shit.
Oh,
Who do we
the
just let
stud.
go?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
stud. I'm slipping on his name also.
God, it hurts so bad that he's gone. It is, doesn't it?
All right. Well, if you're listening on audio, appreciate you listening all the way to the MC. Was 5 stars, comment, review, all the good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the MC. Subscribe, share, tell your friends that the Battered Marlins fans are back. And
Back.
for those of you, well, what I'm talking about, I got so accustomed to talking about a live chat. We don't do this live anymore. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the last 27 minutes, and we'll be back next week, hopefully talking about 2 series sweeps, and maybe not with the co-host next time. But appreciate everybody, and until the next one, have a good one.